You're invited to our secrets party, so take a seat and get ready to uncover everything that's hidden inside the factory and, of course, inside its toys. While we wait for our special guest, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Oh, looks like they're already here. Here you have 25 secrets in Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Maybe you didn't notice this, but after you finally see the prototype's face, it'll keep watching you from the depths of the factory as you move forward. And the worst part is that by the end of the chapter, it manages to catch you. By the way, there's a hidden prototype jump scare that didn't make it into the final game. The prototype experimenting on toys in Playtime Co's laboratories is a nod to the movie Coraline. The beldam, the other mother, has similarly long, sharp hands, and there's a key scene where she empties a stuffed toy, turns it inside out, and transforms it into something completely different. That idea of recycling creatures to create new ones is exactly what the prototype does with the factory's toys. A hidden document hints that Playtime Co. had plans far beyond its main factory. It mentions 3 projects: Broader Horizons in the United States, a Japanese one that means New Beginnings, and a third called Garden World Play Park. The shipment includes thousands of red poppy seeds and irrigation systems, so everything points to the company growing poppies on an industrial scale to produce poppy gel in other locations. So the next spin-offs in the saga could take us to a facility in Japan or the Play Park theme park. One of the weirdest Poppy Playtime mysteries has finally been solved: the origin of Limon. This lemon that kept showing up hidden in every chapter turns out to be a genetically modified fruit that was grown in Playtime Co.'s greenhouse lab. Apparently, a jokester employee kept leaving them around the factory as a prank. If you place the hidden lemon next to the rest of the lemons in the lab, you'll unlock an Easter egg that plays a snippet of the song Wrong Side Out by YouTuber CG5. Even though Lily Love Braids has a pretty unoriginal closet with all her outfits exactly the same, this doll actually has a huge catalog of costumes for every occasion. On top of that, the original design for her braids was inspired by Dr. Octopus's tentacles from Spider-Man, moving and attacking with a mind of their own. And there's also a creepy detail after her death. In one of her cutouts, you can hear the following.
Did you know your hair keeps growing even after you die?
This is actually a pretty widespread myth. What really happens is that the skin dehydrates and shrinks, making the hair look longer. But when it comes to Lily, a doll whose hair has a will of its own, who knows if her braids could still be dangerous even after she's dead? If you find and scan the 7 hidden panels scattered across the Chapter 5 factory, Pianosaurus will show up dancing to his catchy song with some slightly clumsy moves. Then when he's done, he stands completely still like a statue, posing for eternity. It's not canon, but they gave him more spotlight in this Easter egg than his entire appearance in Chapter 4. If you think Pianosaurus finally got the justice he deserves, leave the message #Justice for Pianosaurus in the comments so we can see how many of us support the cause. If you open one of the kitchen cabinets in Lily Love Braid's house, you'll find a teapot that you can heat up and use to pour tea into all the cups around the home. But there's more. Up in the mansion's attic, there's a portrait of Lily that's a direct reference to Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, with the same pose and framing. This painting was also hidden in the Christmas artwork Mob Entertainment posted on social media. We finally know why the prototype has been dragging away the corpses of the toys we defeated in previous chapters. Yep, it uses them to incorporate them into its own body, literally becoming a monster made of monsters. On its abdomen, you can see Huggy Wuggy's arms attached, along with Kissy Missy's and Mommy Longlegs. But it doesn't stop there. On its back, it has incorporated CatNap's purple fur, the ducts used to expel red gas, and more likely even part of its skeleton. That's some seriously unsettling stuff. Baby Longlegs, the child of Mommy Longlegs and Daddy Longlegs, finally appears as a toy in Chapter 5. He doesn't move and he's definitely not alive, but when you place him on the tea table, Lily Love Braids offers him her condolences for his mother's terrible death.
And I'm so sorry for your loss.
And if you get close to the shower, you'll hear her say something about Doey's death. How does Lily know everything that happened in the earlier chapters if she's been locked inside her dollhouse? Because she secretly broke one of the windows in her mansion, the same one she later covered with a poster so the prototype wouldn't discover it. That hole allowed her to escape, spy, and learn everything that was going on in the factory. In the recycling area, if you go up the stairs in room 14, you'll find an iron lung hidden among the rubble. Many players believe it's a reference to Iron Lung, the horror movie directed by and starring Markiplier, based on the video game of the same name. Now, the interesting part here is that the relationship between Markiplier and Poppy Playtime isn't in its best moment.
This was a fucking mess.
After 5 hours of playing Chapter 5 live, the YouTuber ended his stream with one of the harshest critiques people can remember. Yeah, he called the game a disaster, criticized the overdose of chase sequences, the character's unclear motivations, and said he doesn't plan on playing Chapter 6. So the community split between those who agreed with him and those who defended Mob Entertainment's work. If you stay next to Giblet after he sends you to look for the grab pack in the boilers, he'll start humming some of the factory's catchiest tunes. The Doey the Doughman commercial.
He's stretchy, he's gummy, he's squishy, he's funny. D-O-E-Y.
He's stretchy, he's gummy, he's squishy, he's funny. D-O-E-Y. He's silly, he's gooey, he's something. D-O-E-Y.
The Smiling Critters jingle.
S-M-I-L-E every day!
S-M-I-L-E every day. When you're in and out, you need a minute out, 'cause Smiling Critters here to say S-M-I-L-E every day. Yay!
And Huggy Wuggy's super catchy song.
His name is Huggy, Huggy Wuggy.
His name is Huggy. Huggy Wuggy. When he hugs you, he'll never stop. Yes, your friend Huggy. Huggy Wuggy. He'll squeeze you until you pop. Please leave.
If you turn on the ultraviolet light inside the research and development area, you'll spot a hidden graffiti on the wall that says Zeph was here, along with a drawing of Yarnaby's face. It's a direct nod to Seth Ballinger, co-founder of Mob Entertainment, alongside his brother Zach, the studio CEO. Zeph is the nickname Seth uses within the development team, a secret signature from the creator himself, tucked away in the guts of his own game. The version of the prototype we see in Broken Things isn't what was originally planned. Isaac Christopherson confirmed on X that while the Jester head was always part of the idea, like in this early 2021 concept, the rest of the body was going to be very different. The final original design was meant to look much more like the altar CatNap built in Chapter 3, a body made of scrap, human remains, and toy parts, with the heads of Mommy, Doey, and CatNap protruding from its structure. It was also going to have several grab packs on its back that it would use to chase the player. Concept art was also shared for what Chum could have looked like, but it was ultimately scrapped. Just like Giblet, Lily Lovebraids has a musical side too. During the red light game, Lily hums different melodies while she chases you along the purple hair path. The first, and the most recognizable, is Poppy's Lullaby, which then speeds up. Then there's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and finally, Itsy Bitsy Spider. At the start of Chapter 5, you can see something incredible, an entire underground city beneath Playtime Co's facilities. And it's not just a decorative backdrop. Some players have managed to unlock the game's free camera and confirm that the city is actually modeled with buildings, streets, and structures. Everything points to the idea that beneath the factory there was a real urban area where workers lived, and possibly even the children involved in the experiments. That would fit perfectly with the notion that Playtime Co wasn't just a toy company, but an operation on a much larger scale than we ever imagined. One of the most shocking moments in Broken Things is when the prototype grabs Poppy and crushes her head. Now, the prototype itself seems surprised by what it just did, staring at its fingers like it didn't realize its own strength. But there's a detail many people missed. Where did that eye go? The answer came from Amber Ogden, an artist at Mob Entertainment. The prototype didn't keep it. Poppy's eye fell along the way while Kissy Missy was fleeing with her in her arms after the confrontation. So somewhere between Lily's house and the tram station, Poppy's eye is just lying on the floor. The documents and audio tapes scattered throughout Chapter 5 reveal one of the most tragic twists in the entire saga. Poppy is Experiment 1007, created right after the prototype, who turns out to be Ollie, Experiment 1006. The two were raised practically like siblings under the care of Elliot Ludwig, founder of Playtime Co. The problem is that Elliot didn't create the prototype out of love. He used him as a guinea pig to perfect the process that would allow him to revive his real deceased daughter, Poppy Ludwig, in the form of a doll. When Ollie realized he was never more than a test prototype and that all of his adopted father's attention was aimed at Poppy, he began to develop a sickening jealousy that slowly turned into something much darker.
You think I'm a hammer just like him! Just like
All those relentless experiments, the suffering they caused, and the way Elliot kept pushing the process further and further seems to be what ultimately drove the prototype to end Elliot's life. His body was found when he tried to escape the factory with CatNap's help. So the most terrifying villain in Poppy Playtime wasn't born a monster, they made him one. The Wrong Side Outimals are one of Playtime Co.'s biggest commercial failures. Originally, they were sold as reversible plush toys. Deep in the factory, the prototype subjected other experiments, like the smiling critters, to a brutal process to grant them eternal life. The ones who survived were left disfigured, turned inside out from within, transformed into aggressive creatures that fear the light and attack in the dark. They're basically a punishment, an eternal existence trapped in a body they no longer recognize. But not all Outimals accepted their fate. Some kept their sanity and even opposed the prototype. Giblet, your main ally in Chapter 5, is one of them. If you listen closely to the Wrong Side Outimals focus test tape, you'll catch a real-world reference. Playtime Co. set up a parent focus group to test the toy line, and it went completely off the rails. One mother called the plushie satanic, referencing the Satanic Panic.
And satanic.
They do sort of look a bit demonic. Ugh.
The wave of mass hysteria that swept the United States in the 1980s and 1990s, when thousands of parents saw demonic influence in toys and role-playing games. Someone else then topped it off by saying the concept was very Jeffrey Dahmer.
So very Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, how about...
Which places the tape at some point after 1991, the year the killer was arrested. That means we can pin down the exact time they tried to sell these toys, and it also explains why Pierre ordered the brand completely erased. Chum Chompkins is part of the Huggy family, but with a unique twist. A mouth on his stomach capable of storing people, Playtime Co. used him as a calm corner for sensitive kids, putting them inside his mouth so they could relax. The strangest part is that Chum can't speak. People believe he was a mute orphan before being turned into an experiment, and in the game, he communicates through sign language. After hiding the player, he warns that it's dangerous and that you should go somewhere else. Miss Gracie's story is probably the most twisted in all of Poppy Playtime. Gracie Green was the counselor in charge of brainwashing children turned into toys, forcing them to forget who they were through looping videos. If any toy resisted, she would send them to the bad toy box, a shredder. 3 days before the Hour of Joy, the scientists were preparing a new experiment, 1468 Lily Love Braids, but they still didn't have a candidate. When the Hour of Joy broke out, the toys found Gracie hiding and decided killing her would be too merciful.
Get back! Get back! Mama, I was just trying to make you all happy. I wasn't. Please, don't hurt me!
We're not gonna hurt you, Miss Gracie. We have something very special planned for you.
So they dragged her to the prototype, who turned her into Lily and subjected her to the very same brainwashing she used on the children. She endured 122 days in total isolation before losing her mind and forgetting her identity completely. The most disturbing part, in Lily's bedroom, Gracie's skeleton is hidden inside a heart-shaped bed. Lily protects it devotedly, without knowing those bones are actually her own. At the end of Chapter 5, the prototype stabs the player and throws them into a tank of poppy gel, leaving them for dead. Everything goes dark. But then Giblet pulls you out of the tank and shocks you with his baton, bringing you back to life. Sound familiar? It's the exact same procedure described in Experiment 814, a document you could find in Elliot Ludwig's office back in Chapter 2. In that experiment, the scientists killed a rat, submerged it into a mixture of poppy flower and preservative gel, and a week later, applied an electrical shock in an attempt to revive it. And a week later, applied an electrical shock in an attempt to revive it. The rat didn't respond, but the document itself left a crucial hint. Perhaps something larger than a rat would yield different results. 3 chapters later, that something larger is the player. The gel closed the wounds, and Giblet's shock did the rest. Bron is the most cursed dinosaur in Poppy Playtime. They tried to put him in multiple chapters, and he always ended up getting cut. First, he was going to appear in the Playhouse instead of Dog Day in Chapter 3. Then they planned him as a monster in Playcare's toy store, but that entire section was removed. In Chapter 4, he was designed as an enemy who would chase the player, but the team replaced him with Yarnaby. And finally, in Chapter 5, Bron appears, but chained up in the boiler room while the Outimals devour him alive. The community's already joking that Mob Entertainment has an irrational hatred of dinosaurs. I mean, between Pianosaurus' instant death in Chapter 4 and Bron's miserable fate here. 2 days after Chapter 5 launched, CG5 released the animated music video for Wrong Side Out, his second official collaboration with Mob Entertainment after Sleep Well. The lyrics hide a few nods, like "Don't Put Me in the Box," which references Miss Gracie's bad toy box, and "This is the start of my immortal perfection, and I'm your god," which connects the altar CatNap built for him in Chapter 3. A week later, Mob released a second music video with some juicy revelations. We finally learned that it was the prototype who locked Poppy in the box and spray painted the door so no one would come near it. You can also see the silhouettes of several orphan children being guarded by the prototype, though after so many years trapped down there, we doubt they're in the best shape. And here's a detail very few people know. Before the chapter released, the animation team behind that second music video accidentally leaked a 3D model of the prototype themselves while they were working on the song. Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime was originally going to be the last chapter in the saga. The story was meant to end here, revealing what happened to the orphans, to Poppy, and to Elliot Ludwig. We know this thanks to Isaac Christopherson, former creative director of Chapters 1, 2, and 3, who confirmed that his original script ended in this 5th episode with a bittersweet ending. After he left though, Mob Entertainment changed plans and decided to expand the lore with new characters like Giblet and Chum Chompkins, stretching the story further than originally intended. Keep discovering the secrets hidden inside Playtime's factory in the videos we're leaving here. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything Poppy Playtime. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!